Isles of Adalar. On paper, the game reads like something we would all want. If you closed your eyes and I said, "Hello, my friend, how would you like to play a medieval fantasy RPG set in a massive open world with deep character customization, multiple races, choice and consequence, melee, ranged, and magicka combat? And unlike many games in this genre, you can play co-op with your buddies, and better yet, the game has complete mod support with a level editor and scripting tools built in." It sounds like the dream, right? And kind of too good to be true. Well, in a way, in its current state, it kind of is. But the Peakway software development team have a lot of big ideas, and for a studio of 3 developers, they've bitten off a pretty big bite of the RPG apple. But in the current state the demo is in, I'm not too sure if they can chew. This is a massive project for a developer of 3 people who are also publishing the game. It honestly makes sense that they would put up for crowdfunding on Indiegogo, and I really like the idea of releasing a demo at the same time to say, hey look, this is what we have now, if you like us, throw us a couple of dollars so we can make it better. I've played the demo, and while I can say some of it is definitely fun, which is obviously the ultimate goal in any gaming experience, there are a lot of issues in its current state. I don't want to be too negative, so what we're going to do is go through everything that I don't like and then the positives at the end. You know, finish on a positive, right? So, right off the bat, the first thing I noticed is the game looks pretty much last gen. I was running the game on Ultra to see how it would go. While the demo definitely runs stable, the texture quality and lighting leave a lot to be desired. Not every game has to look like, you know, Red Dead Redemption 2 or something, but there's definitely a lot left on the table, you know. Like, from my own perspective, first impressions really are everything, especially in this kind of demo situation where you're asking people to spend a few dollars on a game that doesn't release until next year. You really want to wow them out the gate pretty much as soon as they open the game. But really it's texture quality and a bit of lighting that's kind of missing here in a lot of the scenes, because most of the demo takes place kind of in a cavern system and you can really tell the difference. One thing on their Indiegogo page it does mention is that the game's been in development for 4 years and they're planning on upgrading to a new version of Unity, which includes the high definition render pipeline tech. So I imagine graphically this isn't what we should expect in the final product, so we'll see how it turns out. The main issue I had with the game is definitely the combat. There is no hit animation or feedback like a sound when you swing your sword or shoot an arrow, which makes it really hard to tell if you're actually hitting the target. This kind of leads to the combat feeling really janky, and in its current state it's really difficult to find the combat enjoyable. Without a way to actually tell if you're hitting the enemy, it gets kind of confusing. Another weird thing with the combat is that you have to hit like 25 buttons just to shoot a single arrow. You have to draw your weapon with C, press R to knock the arrow, right click to aim, and left click to shoot. And then, as I mentioned, there's no hit feedback, so it's even harder to tell if you're actually hitting the target. The last issue I experienced is really just the crazy amount of bugs in my game time. Items I couldn't pick up for I don't know what reason. At one point I was wearing 2 pairs of pants, I don't know why, I just was, and there were items in my inventory that were like grayed out, like I couldn't wear them, but if I hovered the mouse over like a specific spot I could actually click on the item and wear it. And at one point I died and there is no death screen. I was just like chilling, looking straight ahead, couldn't move, couldn't do anything. I didn't have a save file at that point, so I had to try and exit to the main menu, and then the game locked up and crashed, so that's a thing. But, you know, it is a demo, it's not the final product, there is obviously still in development, and you can't really judge the entire game by this demo, but these are just my experiences. Now, as I've said before, this is a demo, right? Its main goal is to show you what they've created so far and hopefully get your support for the Indiegogo crowdfunding, which I've got a link into the description below if you're interested. But if this demo is your main selling point, you've got to sort out a lot of these issues like right out the gate, you know, like not having a death screen or anything is kind of weird oversight, especially when it's so easy to die because you can't tell if you're, you know, actually hitting anything. Now, let's not all be negative. Underneath the rough exterior, there is something good here. The dialogue system, it looks like really good. There is a lack of voice acting, which is fair. You know, voice acting is expensive and it doesn't usually come until later in a project, but the dialogue itself, there is depth there. The different skills unlock different options, and there's a unique idea to how speech skills work, which I'll read from their official site. Instead of using a speech skill to determine dialogue choices or persuasion success, the player can assign multiple personality traits to their character, and these traits will give unique responses. The success or failure of the persuasion attempt is determined by both the player's character level and if a specific type of persuasion logically makes sense for the context of the situation, which is a really interesting way to do that dialogue system. Like, you know, it makes sense that you can't just intimidate every single person you see in the world, kind of like you can in the outer worlds. You can always use any of the 3 speech skills regardless of where you are in the context of the conversation. Even in my first little intro section, I was interested in the NPCs as well. I took the camp's leader's son on my journey with me. You know, he was like a young guy trying to prove himself to, you know, the parent. The character customization looks pretty deep, both in your physical appearance and your attributes and talents that you get to pick. There is different race options, although the human race is currently the most fleshed out. The other races didn't have as many options, as well as different class options ranging from, you know, sword and board knight to a ranger to different types of magic users. I didn't really get far enough in the demo to see how drastically this affects your gameplay. Obviously, if you're, you know, ranged compared to melee, it affects how you deal with combat, but I wasn't really sure if you can kind of mix and match a lot of the different skill sets, if you can kind of be your own magic user with a two-handed sword, for example. The demo is still up on Steam for free. If you're interested, I definitely recommend downloading it and give it a crack for yourself. You've really got nothing to lose from just playing a free demo. I'll have all the Peakway Software and Isles of Adalar links in the description below if you want to check them out. If you like the demo, consider supporting them on Indiegogo. This is a massive project for such a small studio, and I really hope they can pull it off. These are definitely my kind of games, and anytime someone comes out with something like this, I really hope they succeed. If you do check out the demo, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm always interested to hear different opinions. But anyway guys, that's all from me today. My name is Norzza. Thank you for watching and have a great day.